At 97 years old, she's granted a degree of anonymity by German law. But her age cannot protect her, nor the 7 decades that have passed, nor the lowly role she performed for the Nazis.
It is easy to say she was just a secretary, but a secretary had an important role in the bureaucracy of a concentration camp.
Still, Irmgard Furchner has been tried as a juvenile because she was still in her teens when she took that job. The judges taken to see where the gas chambers operated round the clock, finding Furchner complicit in the murder of more than 10,500 people here. She claimed she didn't know what was happening, but those who survived this place said otherwise, among them one who was just 11 years old when the Nazis captured him.
She worked there for 2 years, and it's an impossibility for her not to have become aware of what was happening. There was an electrified fence around the camp of Jewish inmates alive who by then were so emaciated that they were just skin and bone, and some of them periodically shuffled towards the electrified fence to end their suffering by electrocuting themselves. But more often than not, the guard in one of these guard towers, which were dotted around the perimeter, would spot them, and if they didn't obey his order to turn round and walk back, they would shoot them. And this was done publicly, including in areas which were close to where she worked.
You were barely a teenager. She was 18. Is her youth any defence?
Superficially, it might appear cruel to put a 90-plus-year-old person on trial, but I think for the greater good, making people aware ongoingly of what actually happened there, that it was unprecedented cruelty and sadistic intolerance that, in my opinion, although I might not be totally objective, I think was unprecedented in human history on that scale. I felt that every single day, if I was still alive at the end of the day, it meant I had won the lottery that day, because life really was like a lottery. You never knew any morning for certain that you might still be alive that evening. And unfortunately, very sadly, heartbreakingly in fact, many people actually had that experience. They were alive in the morning and no longer alive in the evening of that day. And people died during the night. In our barrack, we had to sleep in bunk beds 3 tiers high. Most of the beds had at least 2 people sharing a very narrow 2-foot wide bed. We slept on straw without blankets. And not a night went by that someone in that barrack died from malnutrition, from sickness, whatever the reason. And a small group of men was ordered every morning to look into each bunk bed, and if they found any body there of someone who had died, it was their job to take it to the crematorium. That was typical life in Stutthof, particularly the second time later towards the end of the war.
He's watched a woman who first tried to flee, then refused to cooperate, and who's never fully apologised escape a prison sentence. But with anti-Semitism again on the rise, it's been worth it.
I felt that at the trial, some sort of inside information of what actually did happen on a daily basis in these camps would gain some publicity and help make people aware of the atrocities which the inmates had to face daily over a period of years, and which unfortunately around 6 million did not survive.
With those behind the death camps and those who survived them fewer in number every year, this trial is even more important as a last living reminder of the horrors of the past. Rachel Younger, ITV News.